Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194, and appreciate you taking the time out of your day to stop in and visit and check out my video. And this is just hopefully it'll be a shorter video. This is just basically some setup tips, um, and mainly it's talking about in general terms. Now this tip is really good for any car. It's not just the Porsche. So again, here we are at Mount Panorama, which I'm spending a lot of time here with lots of different cars, trying to do some different league races and also LFM, and of course it's getting ready for my e-seniors and working on the Porsche. And again, I have a few setups and I was just trying to tweak them. Okay, so first of all, obviously, the Porsche is always, everybody knows it's behind on top speed, and that's the way it is no matter what. You could put it to zero wing and it still wouldn't have the speed that the Aston Martin or the Honda or whatever. Okay, so you're never going to fight. You're never going to win that battle. Period. But I try to go. Okay, let's go the least amount of wing I can go, and still be able to get around the track and adjust it accordingly. So that's what I did. I try to really get it to where right on the ragged, not really close to the ragged edge as I could. But again, especially, and this is a fast track, so this is mainly for fast tracks, whether it's Monza here, Paul Ricard, but, mainly the faster tracks. But, like I said, you're fighting, you're racing against the track, and that's anywhere, but more so here probably than anywhere else. But you're always, you're racing against the track also. So, first you got to not wreck and keep the thing off the walls. And I mean, this is the number one place for that. But second of all, you got to be able to do that lap after lap. And you also got to consider drafting, because obviously at the faster tracks, drafting does come into play. So let's look at where I had it at a shorter wing. And I'll pick my best lap. And then a couple of things you got to take into consideration. One is, where are the gears coming in at? Like down at the end of this next straightaway, I was really almost having to go into sixth because fifth was just about really wound out. So if I was in a draft with somebody, I'd definitely have to be into sixth. But without a draft, I'm really kind of in between because fifth is pretty much, wound out as much as I could get it wound out. So, you got to take a look and see, well, I could be losing a little bit of time there, just because the way the gears are in whatever car that you're driving. So here, it's wound out and it's 150. That's all I could get out of it. Now remember, this has only got a 3-wing. This is as low as I could go, and I adjust everything accordingly to try to balance the car the best that I could, okay? So I'm really trying to balance the car to get it to where it'll still go over this mountain at a decent pace and not hit the walls or not wreck. So I'm looking for sparks. I'm looking for, lockups, things like that. Here you got to be really careful. Just because of the downhill, I've crashed there so many times, being very aggressive. And of course, with a Porsche, you have to be aggressive. That's where you're trying to make up time, because even with a low wing, you're still not near what these other guys are. So again, you got to consider that. Coming through here, getting a good drive off of here so you can get as much speed down the straightaway. But again, this is good for any car, no matter what it is. It all pertains to every one of them. So we'll see what the speed is on this. And again, this is as low as wing I could get on it and still be stable. It's 171. That's all it's going to do. Okay? And you see I'm almost went in too deep because the car was coming around. I was in as deep as I could. Because again, you can't get too aggressive with the rear brake and things like that. Otherwise you can already see the back end's coming around. Okay? So again, you got to tune it to what you have. to what setup you're trying to accomplish. And I ran a 203.08 and I had 55 liters of fuel. So, which is a decent time, but nothing, I really need to do better. So let's go to my fast lap. Or they're both almost equal times, but let's go. Now this is with a 5 wing. Okay, so now I've increased my wing 2, but I've also readjusted the car accordingly. The ride height's a little different. The alignment's a little bit different. All those kinds of things. You can already see that I've run faster. Same fuel load, and I've run faster. And this is a fast track. So let's see what the difference is as far as speed and things like that. I did 150 the other time. This is 149. So you're looking at 1 mile an hour difference. But you can see I wasn't up against it as much as I was before. I still might have to go in 6 if I was drafting really good, but you're going to be gaining a lot more speed. Remember, drafting is free horsepower. That's free. Now, can I get a little bit, there you see a spark there. Can I get a little bit more aggressive? I can be a little bit more aggressive over the mountain because I have a little bit more grip. Probably didn't do as good there. Probably need to back off a little bit before just to get that better drive so I go down the straightaway. So we'll see what the speed is here. Like I said, the drive coming on could have been a little bit better. Well, let's look at what the difference is. 170. So 1 mile an hour difference. That's it. And look how much more smoother it is going through there. So again, I'm not saying either lap is absolutely perfect, but what would I rather have in a race? I'd rather have a car balance better, easier on the tires, so I think it's going to be more consistent through the race. And on top of that, you have a better chance of beating the track. What I mean by that is you have a better chance of surviving the track compared to the other car, the other setup that won't. So, again, it's all in the setup as far as what you're trying to accomplish, but don't be afraid to add 1 click of wing or 2 clicks of wing to any car, but then you need to readjust what the car can do so you can take advantage of that wing. You can take advantage of the grip. That's where you're going to gain the time, not just by clicking up a wing, unless the car's already loose and you can't hardly keep it on track. Yeah, then you might gain just by clicking the wing. But if the car is already pretty balanced and you're just trying to see, well, it's still, I'm not really getting the times I want and I can't be as aggressive as I need to be here, there, whatever, then maybe click the wing up 1 or 2 clicks and adjust it accordingly. And now the car's going to handle better. It's going to drive better. You're going to be more consistent. And again, what's going to happen if I'm drafting behind somebody? I mean, even if they're pulling away slightly, okay, because I can't stay right with them down the straightaway, I'm still going to gain 2 or 3 miles an hour. So instead of doing 170, I'm going to be doing 172, 173, and I'm going to go faster. So, but obviously, the other car can't go faster over the mountain. That's all in whatever the car can handle. So again, it makes it tough because, again, depending upon the car, it makes it harder to pass. You're not going to just go blowing by somebody down the straightaway. But the Porsche is not going to do that anyway in this particular situation. I mean, I don't care if I had a 0 wing. It's not going to go blowing by somebody down the straightaway. It's just not going to happen. Okay, you can already see that with a 3, we went down 2 clicks down to 3 wing on the Porsche, and I gained 1 mile an hour. That's again, and the more I went lower, the worse it would get, because what would happen is, even if I gained another mile an hour, I'm going to lose so much time over the mountain, I would probably run slower, and there's just no way to compensate for it. So again, this is just a quick tip, and this is again to any car. Just try it. If you're having issues Don't always tune the car, even on fast tracks. Don't always tune the car to the lowest wing possible. Try to have it to where it's a good drivable car, especially if you're in a longer race. It's even more important. In a sprint race, you might be able to get away with it if it's on the ragged edge. But if you're in a longer race, an hour or hour and a half or whatever, you might even want something a little bit more drivable so you can stick around at the end and battle, or if you make a few mistakes, you can hang on to it and not totally destroy the car and be out of the race. So again, those are just my suggestions, and again, that's just my opinion, but I just think that it's in the long run it'll help you finish more races and have more fun. So again, if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments. I love talking to all my sim racing friends, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and give me a like and subscribe, and hope you come back really soon. See ya.